everybody, and welcome back to the It's Cringe But It's True podcast. I'm your host, Ellie Olivier, and Breia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So Breia is one of my friends from Utah State. When I was up there, we did dance company together.
Yes.
And she's literally the best human ever, you guys. I'm so stoked to have her behind the mic because she is the best, and she has so much good knowledge.
You're the best.
We just wanted to quickly give a little disclaimer before getting into the episode. We are going to be talking about body image and eating disorders and all things regarding that. So if this is like sensitive or triggering in any way for anyone out there, just reminder to just listen with discretion. And if you are in like a crisis, we'll give a hotline at the end of the episode that you can refer to. But hopefully that the stuff we talk about in this episode will hopefully just make you feel a little bit less alone if you are struggling with this, because we were just chatting before this and we both think like it's just not talked about enough.
Yeah, it's not.
And it seriously needs to be talked about more and brought more light to, because it is a very like negative connotation and there's so much negativity around it. And it's stigma, yeah, for sure. So that is what we'd be talking about today, and let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so first I just wanted to kind of circle back to like the beginning of Breia, like growing up. All the way back to day one.
Yeah, remember it like it was yesterday.
So, like, how do you feel like growing up? Because you always danced, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you feel like body image affected you throughout your life?
I think dance was a huge factor. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was younger, I don't know the exact age, but definitely an age where you shouldn't be thinking about your weight or your body or appearance in general. And I had a dance teacher, and she was like, I can see your lunch, or, like, just things like that. Yeah. And, like, I was young. I was like, what does that even mean? Like, huh? And then that kind of just stuck with me for a while. And then as I got older, it made more sense. And I was like, right. And so then probably from, like, 7th grade to sophomore year in high school were like bad years for like my mental health and like my physical health and all of that. And I'm pretty sure it was my sophomore year in high school. I was at my sister's house and I passed out into her fridge because I wasn't eating. And so after that I was like, I think I need to go to therapy. And so then I started going to therapy and have been working on it all since.
It's interesting that you say, like, even when you were so young, like, that little comment that your dance teacher made, like, affected you so much throughout your life.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be so freaking careful what you say to women especially, and also, like, anyone, men included. Like, those things can really stick with us.
Yeah.
What things do you feel like you started to notice in the early stages?
I think I noticed a lot, like, I was, like, a lot more shaky, and, like, my memory was, like, not doing good. I couldn't remember, like, simple things, or, like, you just don't function how you should. And for a long time, I didn't want to recognize that I was struggling or, like, anything was wrong. I just thought I was being a good dancer and having a thinner body will make me a better dancer, which is not true. But a lot of it is just you start hating on your body, and then because of that, your mental health also declines, because if your body isn't thriving, your mind can't thrive either, you know?
It's so insidious, too. It just kind of creeps up when you don't even realize it, too, until you're, like, in it, and you're like, oh, shoot, like, you don't even realize. And I was going to ask you more about, like, how that affected your mental, too. You feel like just not eating, just obviously, like, it's, like, your cognitive, like, you need that to function. How did that work for you?
Definitely hard. It definitely gave me a lot of anxiety and major depression. And a lot of times with eating disorders, it gives people a sense of control. And, like, when you don't have any control in other aspects of your life, you find it within your food intake or your exercise. And so that's kind of, like, a big part of the mental health aspect to eating disorders. A lot of times with eating disorders, your mind, it like stops thinking about your personal values, and it pushes all that away because your mind is so focused on your body and what it should look like and what you should be doing to make you look like that or reach that goal weight that isn't possible. Like, it just gives you unrealistic expectations, and then it makes you really hard on yourself. And then you start hating yourself as a person and not only your body, and you just aren't yourself, and you lose your identity completely to your eating disorder or body image.
Because our bodies are such a huge part of who we are. It's not obviously what defines us, but it's like, it is easy to make that feel and kind of seem like it's like our everything when it's really not.
Especially in our society today. Like,
do you feel like when you were in like the thick of it in high school, you were at like kind of a loss in control in other places of your life, and that kind of triggered it a little bit?
I think I was trying a lot to people please people, and was trying to get the best grades and be the best dancer on my drill team and be the best friend I could be, but I couldn't do any of those things because I wasn't even taking care of myself. And so it was really hard because I couldn't control like how my friends felt about me. I didn't like that, like if they perceived me how I didn't agree with or something. And I felt out of control like within dance and like the dance coaches, and a lot of time also with like schoolwork and like just being like overwhelmed with things. But my eating disorder tendencies, I could control those, and like those were expected. I knew how to deal with them, not actually, but you know. And like I could rely on those. I couldn't rely on like past friends, or I couldn't rely on dance or my own emotions, but I could rely on my eating disorder and tendencies of that, which sounds so crazy.
No, I get it. Yeah. What do you feel like your day-to-day life was looking like? Were you constantly thinking about it, or were there things you would do to kind of mute that noise in your head?
I think it depended on the day, but a lot of the time it was like starve yourself. You know, like you can't eat or you don't deserve to eat. And so if I didn't deserve to eat, I didn't deserve basic necessities or just to have like a good life or have fun or literally anything. Like if you convince yourself that you don't deserve to eat, how are you going to tell yourself you deserve to have fun or deserve to go on a walk?
So
not
true.
because of your weight, like to lose weight in that purpose, but
It's so true. It's like the pinnacle of our self-worth. It's like the most like imperative thing is to eat, to fuel your body.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't have that like basic human need and necessity,
yeah.
how are you going to be able to love yourself, care for yourself, provide for yourself, know that you're worthy of all these other things if you don't even have that like core thing that you literally need for survival, right?
And I find myself when I was younger, I always got frustrated because I couldn't show up for people how I wanted to. But I couldn't even show up for myself in the most simple way, you know? So I kind of give myself more grace for that now. But it definitely is like a complicated disorder, and just the whole topic in itself. It's not like gray and white, like black and gray.
Black and white.
Black and white? Whatever. It's definitely not a black and white concept and like topic, and everyone experiences it differently. And I'm not saying I have the answers to everyone and everything. Like, it's definitely still being researched onto. Like, not even experts know everything about it, you know?
Because you're studying psychology. You've done, she said she was doing like a lot of papers, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel like the research behind it, that helped kind of understand?
I think for me, yes and no. I think realizing that so many other people have experienced the same things as I have really helped, and also helped me understand more of like the mental side of it and not just the like stigma of the vanity of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it is not about vanity. It's about so much more that no one sees. And just like the research and eating disorders are the most fatal mental illness.
Yeah.
And just, it's a lot more than starving yourself or making yourself throw up or binging and purging and all of that thing, all of that stuff. You know, like, it's just a lot more. And so I also think the research helps me help other people. And it's not like me giving them statistics and percentages and facts, you know, but it helps me talk to others in a way that is true and not just like biased, you know?
It really is such an isolating thing too, though. Like when you're struggling with it and you're in the midst of it, you feel so alone, and you don't feel like you obviously want to talk to anyone about it, because I think in the back of our minds, it's like, you know, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And you know this probably isn't healthy, but it's like you're in this almost like trance, or I don't even know how to just describe it, but it really does get to that point, right? Like,
I've found, like, in therapy, like, at least for my eating disorder, it gives like this very alluring type of vibe. Like, you know it's bad, but it also looks so shiny and pretty, and it'll give you all this happiness, which it won't, but it's very alluring and you want it. And then you also see that it's bad for you, and like it affects all aspects of your life, yet it's something you still like yearn for. And like even now, sometimes I still feel like that, and it's definitely something you have to work through. But it's also like, it's okay to accept it as a part of you. Like, you can name it, you can name your eating disorder, you can befriend it and not like push it away or ignore it. Like, you should get to know your eating disorder or your tendencies or just your thoughts that come in. Like, just getting to know them and not pushing all of that away and just acting like it's not there helped me a lot. And then obviously it is very isolating, and once you like realize you need help, that's probably one of the hardest parts of it. But honestly, when you do ask for help, even if it's just your friend and you mention something to them, or you say, "Hey mom, I think I need to start therapy," or "Hey, can I get on medication, like at the doctor's," like anything like that. Or even like crisis text lines. Then you're not even face to face with anyone. And just once you start doing one thing, it trickles into more and more, into you pouring into yourself. Yeah.
and I think just like in the time I've known you, like just seeing how seriously strong you are, because it really is one of the most fatal things for your mental health, like for sure. And like watching you be so resilient and like come to terms with it, and then also like be able to come on this podcast and speak so eloquently on these things that are really touchy and sensitive to talk about. What were things like you started doing to realize you needed help and like asking for help?
I think like the logic side of me was like, what the freak are you doing? You know, like I was on the scale every day, like writing down my weights and like, I need to do this, I need to do that. And then my logical side is like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even make sense for a lot of the things I was doing or like wanting. And then it took just a lot of willpower for my logical side to kind of make more space instead of the eating disorder side, and having more of like a want for myself to be happier and not stay in sadness and pain and discomfort, and just accept my body in my life and see like I have a functional body and when others don't, you know? And with me, I have a niece, and that really opened my eyes. I was like, I don't want my niece to see me struggling with food. Like, I don't want her to think about her body in a bad way. or learn from me. And even with my nephew too, I don't want him seeing that, like, that I'm hurting myself. It's self-harm still. Like, I don't want them to see that and think that's normal, or to grow up and think the same way as I did or do. And I think that kind of brought me more into a reality instead of my eating disorder reality, you know?
Because it really just does, like, cloud your judgment entirely.
Yeah.
And it's good to kind of, like, step out of yourself. Or even, like, I used to think, like, my, like, 3-year-old self, like, it's, like, when you're, like, that age, you're just, like, yummy, food, let's get a treat, let's get ice cream. Like,
you're so excited for it.
And then it becomes this, like, kind of dark, hard thing. And I think, like we kind of said, everyone has struggled with this.
In
Every single human, in some way, in the slightest, like, minuscule ways, or a really big dark way, like, even just, like, really caring about what you're putting into your body, even just for health reasons. Maybe that's a little bit detrimental to their health and their mental wellness. But I think it really is an ever-evolving thing. It's not like we were saying too, like, it's not like, oh, I'm cured, I'm good,
I'm perfect,
I'm good, we're good. Like, it is good to accept it, like you were saying. I love that. Like, accept that we're human and we're not perfect, and you might still struggle with it from time to time. Like, you're not like, oh, I'm good. I'm good forever,
it's
you
like,
know?
With kindness, I want to be kind. Well, I did this one kind thing, now I'm kind
I'm
forever.
good, yep.
No, you're working on kindness your whole life until whatever, but you can also be working on yourself and your body and your mind the rest of your life. Totally. It's not one thing you check off.
How has therapy worked for you? How has that been? Has it been beneficial?
I love therapy.
It's the best. Me too.
I think a lot of it also depends on your therapist and making sure they specialize in things that you need, and just having a good relationship with your therapist too. But I definitely think with therapy, it's helped me understand a lot more about my eating disorder and my mind, like how it works, and why eating disorders, like, took over my life for so long, you know, even when I didn't necessarily want it. I think with therapy, it's definitely a hard thing to go through, and then to talk to someone about it when it's such a shameful thing, you know, it feels like it's so frowned upon, even though it shouldn't be. But just to sit there and talk to someone and be like, well, this, and that, and it's, for me, it felt like embarrassing, like I was guilty. And I just, being able to share my story with someone else and them validate it and them accept it and not leave and, like, help me through it was a huge part in my recovery, I think. And I think a lot, like, the core of my eating disorder is, like, self-identity, and working through that has helped me with parts of my eating disorder. And then, like, people pleasing is part of that and helps me with my eating disorder. And then, like, motivation and, like, anxiety and working on those things also helps, you know? It kind of all just meshes into one big thing that can spiral, or you can straighten it out and figure it out in a way that makes sense in your brain.
Totally. I think therapy is, like, one of the most beneficial things that any human on this freaking earth can do for their mental health. And you're so right. It kind of gives you, like, almost like a new perspective. Like, okay, this person is trained to help me go through exactly what I'm going through and help navigate this and recover from this. They're not judging you. They're not making you feel shame or guilt for anything, because you shouldn't. It's so common, and you're a human. Do you feel like you had a lot of other people in your life that you could lean on and support you through that time, or did you kind of just, like, keep it to yourself?
I definitely kept it to myself, but I know I could have. But because I felt so ashamed and guilty and embarrassed, I definitely kept it in. And within my family dynamics too, we just weren't, like, an emotional family, you know? Nothing against them, love them. And I definitely could have gone to them, and my sister was a big part of me going into therapy and all of that. But I think because it was such a sensitive topic and something so hard to admit just to myself, I never wanted to tell someone else. And then the fear of like them judging me or thinking of me differently, you know? Like, I don't want to be surrounded by someone who does this, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's kind of the same with any like mental health thing too. It's like it's hard to kind of come to terms with it yourself. Like I know for sure in my life, like just the step of just acknowledging it
Yeah.
and accepting it and then
Internally.
realizing like, okay, I need help.
Yeah.
Because that's so hard for us. Like as humans, naturally, like you don't want to admit because you don't want to be weak or
Yeah.
like incapable, incompetent. You know, you want to be like, you know, prove to yourself. And also with eating disorders, it's like, you know, it's wrong and you know you shouldn't be doing this, but you are so compelled to keep doing it. So I think just like acknowledging it, like your sister wanted you to start therapy. Is that what you're saying?
Well, so I passed out because I wasn't eating.
Oh yeah, let's circle back to that. Like totally glazed over that. That's crazy. What? Bad.
Yeah, so it was because I was keeping everything in to myself, wasn't talking to anyone about anything I was struggling with. And I was staying at my sister's one night because a lot of times I just stay over there because I'm super close with my sister. And we were just watching a movie or something, so I went up to the fridge to like get a drink or a snack or something. And I just like passed out into the fridge, ironically.
God. So ironic.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And then I was like, oh, I'm fine, it's fine, you know? And I was like, no, it's fine, I'm fine. I'm not fine, obviously.
Yes.
And so then my sister texted my parents, and I was like, no, it's fine, why did you do that? I was like panicking, like they were gonna be mad at me and like all of those type of things. And so then my dad calls me and just like was talking to me, and I could just like hear like the pain in his voice, like knowing that his daughter has been going through something so hard without anyone's help. And so I think because my sister told my parents and all of that, I asked to go to therapy finally. I was already on medications for anxiety and depression.
Okay.
But I didn't want to start therapy at that time, and then later on I did when I asked for it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I think therapy has such a negative connotation too, or like medication. Yeah. It's like, oh, I want to be fine.
Yeah.
We all like want to be fine, right? Like innately, you just want to be okay, and you don't want to.
You want to be normal.
Normal, yes. What's so funny is like, this is normal.
Yeah.
Which is so sad, but it's like, it's okay to struggle.
Yeah.
And it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Like even Breia was there for me in some of my really dark moments with my mental health. And I remember like I would just call her crying and you would be there and just be like, it's okay. Like it's okay to not be okay.
Feel
Let it
your
out.
feelings.
And like I kind of have the same kind of people pleaser tendencies. I've gotten a lot better with therapy.
Yes.
But just to be like, I'm okay. Like I'm just this happy girl. Like we're good. But like I remember you would just say to me like, you don't have to be okay. And I felt
you don't have to be sorry for how you're feeling either.
Like your feelings are valid, and that like it really it's such a common thing to feel that way, and we both are sitting here saying we've definitely felt that way. Right? It's so freaking hard. Do you feel like before the pass out in the fridge that you the only way.
The
fridge incident. Do you think that any of your family, like your sister, kind of like knew or saw signs of what was happening, or do you don't think that they noticed? Maybe
I think I was really good at like hiding it, but my dad would hug me and he'd be like, you're skin and bones, and like tease me about like that stuff, and they're like, eat a burger, you know, things people say to like naturally thinner people. But I think that was like the extent that I remember.
Okay.
They definitely could have, I'm not sure, but they knew I was definitely struggling like with depression. So I think they also kind of just associated everything else with that part instead of something more, you know?
Do you think there were like specific things people would say or do that would trigger you?
I think in junior high, it was a lot like there's a lot of body-focused comments, not even just, like, about me, but, like, I was on the cheer team, people would comment on the cheerleaders' bodies or their appearance and all of those things, and then, like, growing up in dance, you're staring at yourself in a mirror for
Body
8
length mirror,
hours,
literally.
and then you're also with these other girls on your team, and you're looking at them, not even, like, meaning to, you just naturally are looking at them, and you're like, well, I should look like that,
Yes.
and I don't. And, you know, like, certain things, I hated being called, like, skin and bones, or, oh, you're looking healthy, because when I heard that, it was, oh, I've gained weight, which was a bad thing in my mind, which it shouldn't be, because gaining weight is natural and a part of life, you know? But I think that's something so common in the eating disorder world. Like, we don't want to be called healthy because that means we're gaining weight or that means we're fat. Like, that's how we interpret it. So I think those were really big triggers for me. And just, if someone did express their worry, I was like, no, you know, just deny. Like, no, I'm fine, you know?
I think comparison plays a huge role in this too, because especially as dancers, it's so true. Like, you're standing in front of a body length mirror with 15 other women your age, and we all have different shapes and sizes, and I feel like that would get to me because I've always been tall, right? And I feel like that would, like, I'd be like, oh, well, like, I weigh more than this girl who's 5'1". Like, yes, I weigh more than her. I'm freaking, like, way taller than her,
I also
right?
don't think that's really taught, like, to kids. Like, they,
What?
like, when you're taller, you're gonna weigh more than someone who's shorter than you.
Yeah.
You know, like, for a while, I was like, well, we're, like, the same size, but blah, 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 blah. And it just doesn't make sense. Like, I'm taller than her. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Numbers do not define you, and numbers do not show you the accurate weight. And, like, the BMI scale, so stupid.
What advice would you give to someone who's, like, struggling with comparing themselves to other girls or boys? Boys to boys. Girls to boys.
Everyone to everyone. I definitely think it's a personal journey, and sometimes, like, you have to go through it to understand it, which sounds so, like, hard and bad, but it's okay. And I think once you can see yourself for you, it kind of opens your eyes a lot. And for me, like, getting off social media and just taking a break for a little bit was also super helpful. Or making sure you're surrounding yourself with people who don't focus on your appearance or their appearance or anything else, but just surround yourself with people who make you feel good, you know?
What do you think about, like, comparing yourself to your past self? Do you feel like you did that?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a big one.
And sometimes I still do. Like, I'm looking at photos. I'm like, I wish I still looked like that.
Yes.
No, I'm like, it's definitely hard. And I think I've also found beauty within, well, this is the person I used to be. And she looks so happy, but I know she wasn't. And now this is the person I am. I may look different, but I feel so much better, you know?
I think it's important, too, to kind of realize, like, as women, when we grow up, we are naturally going to maybe gain more curves and gain weight. That's just, like, normal. And it's, like, I feel like I used to compare myself to, like, my high school body. I'm like, oh, I wish I looked like that. And I'm like, wait, no. I was 15 there.
It's not
so
possible.
I'm going to look a little bit different. But it's such a detrimental process to kind of get roped into, too. Because, yes, you can compare yourself, obviously, to other women or, like, people on social media. But you're also just saying the best bikini photo that they get on their vacation. You're not seeing the other ones that they hate. But you can also compare yourself to, like, your past body, which is hard, too. And I think it can be hard when you're struggling with eating disorders because you're like, oh, I look so good here because I was doing this. But I like what you said about, like, remembering, like, well, I wasn't happy there. And, like, at the end of the day, like, this is, like, a hard pill to swallow, but it's, like, your body's just the shell of who you are. It's not who you are. Like, when you're on your deathbed, no one's going to be like, Breia, I loved Breia because, you know, she had a really good body. So that was my part about it. Like, nobody, like, no one sees that. You see that way more than anyone else cares about that, right?
Sure.
Like, nobody's going to remember that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to remember, like, the Breia that freaking helped me when I was bawling my eyes out. You know what I mean? Like,
You're
that's
gonna remember
the Breia.
people's soul, not someone's bones,
Exactly. What are other things you feel like helped you recover?
I think a lot is with my therapist, obviously. But then also recently I started going to a nutritionist who specializes in eating disorders.
Oh.
And like I have sessions once a week with her for like an hour, maybe even less than an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even talk about like food. We talk about like the things that fuel my eating disorder. And like we named my eating disorder, and just we're kind of getting to know that part more, but also not let that part take over and kind of control it, and not in like I need to be in control way, but in a welcoming way, and not something to be ignored, but something to be understood. And we definitely have talked about like weight and like calories and all those things, but not like this is your weekly meal setup that you need to meet. It's definitely more we're going at your pace, what you feel comfortable with, what you think you can do. We're not gonna have you eat 3 meals a day if you can't do that, you know?
Just baby steps. I think it's so awesome.
Baby
like,
steps for sure.
Being with a nutritionist, that's so amazing. I'm so proud of you for doing that, because that is such an important step. And it's having someone else help you kind of recover and kind of like come out of it is so, so helpful too. I also wanted to ask you about like just your body image. Like, do you feel like you were like obsessed with looking in the mirror, or like you didn't want to look in the mirror, or like certain things like that? How did you view yourself during that time?
I definitely was like obsessed with looking in the mirror and like having like body checks and just wanting to be the thinnest person in the room or all of those things. And like I remember like some days I'd wear like a baggy shirt because I didn't want anyone to see my body, and then other days I'd wear like a tank top and like I need to prove to people I'm still skinny, you know? It's definitely a weird time and doesn't always make sense, but that's what made sense in my mind, you know?
Do you feel like another thing with women too is like we freaking have periods? Like, hello?
Yeah.
Because when I'm on my period, I'm like, well, I just gained 10 pounds.
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
it feels
you know,
so ugly.
Like, you feel so ugly, and there's actually like a thing with that. Like, that's like a legit thing. Like, when you're in your luteal phase or like on your period, you actually like, you see yourself in a worse, like differently. Like, it's like body dysmorphia. It literally like clicks, and I feel like that's so true for me.
crazy,
and then right when I'm off it, I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
you know?
like now I feel great about myself, but in those days, you know, you're just so hard on yourself and don't like yourself.
I think it's so important that a lot of women hear this, and also like men out there, right? Like, this is not just a women's issue. Like, men can struggle with this stuff too. And I think like freaking this is barely touched on for women, and it is not touched on ever for men. So like, if any guys are out there listening, they're usually not, but if you're out there,
If you are,
then like it's okay if they struggle with that too.
No, for sure. And there's like no data on males with eating disorders or eating disorder tendencies or literally anything with body image. There's a couple things on that, but a lot of it is catered and focused towards women, which is great. But also, when we're not focusing on the whole population, we don't know everything, and males don't want to speak in the first place. And so if we're still not like allowing them to come out and talk about it, they're not going to, and we're not going to have more research or be able to help them, or they're not going to be able to understand it if they are struggling, because a lot of the times they'll be an athlete and they just think it's determination and they're just pushing themselves more when it's really a problem instead.
Yeah. What are some of the things that when people really helped you that really was like the most beneficial, like the ways that they went about it, like what really helped you and what was like triggering and not helpful? Loaded question, sorry.
No, you're good. I think a lot of things that helped me were like having like no judgment and like just feeling comfortable with someone and not thinking like, oh, they're gonna leave me or they're gonna think of me differently. And I think a lot with that, like, it's just a lot of support and kind of just supporting you while you go at your own pace and what you can do, and just showing up for you even in like the smallest of ways. And depending on the person, ask questions, maybe not certain questions, but like asking questions and like helping them understand it more. And like, I think talking about it helps the individual and others understand the whole thing in itself. I think things that kind of triggered me were things like that I felt like judged on, or that is like perceived differently. Like, people would think it's about vanity and my appearance, and yes, that is a part of it, but a lot of the core of my eating disorder was because I didn't like myself.
Okay.
I didn't think I deserved love. I didn't think I deserved to be happy. And so I think a lot of it's like misunderstood, and misunderstandings from people kind of triggered me. And I think a lot when people just would say anything about my appearance, it triggered me, Like, they could say I was super thin, or they could say that I gained a little bit of weight, or they didn't like my makeup, or my hair didn't look good that day, and it would like send me into a spiral.
I think it really is so important to come at a place of just not judging them, because as like with any mental health stuff too, it's like I was so hesitant to tell people for so long, because I was like, we all have the fear of being rejected and being like not accepted for who we are. And I think just like having someone, especially in this front with like eating disorders, just being there to be like, I'm not judging you. I'm also not trying to fix you right now, because this is not a, oh, do this and you're good. It's like a long, winding road
I
to
also
fix
think, like, if someone does tell you they're struggling with an eating disorder, don't be, well, you're beautiful, right? Or you're skinny, or you can eat. Like, they may know that, but they also don't understand it. Like, they can't comprehend that. Like, I couldn't comprehend that my body was good enough as it was, Like, yes, I knew I was technically thin, but I wanted to be thinner,
Totally. I think like it becomes so encapsulating. That's like the only thing you think about.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think for me, stuff that's helped with that is even like you're kind of saying, just like even just getting out of your own head.
Yeah.
Because, it's just basically you being so focused. And I don't like when people say that either, like, oh, it's so like vain. It's like, well, you're not trying to.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't your fault.
Yeah.
This is just something
sure.
that's wrong with your brain.
Yeah.
And it's not because you're a bad person
No.
or because you have something wrong with, like, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just not okay in your mental,
your
right now.
Brain chemical balances are off.
Yes.
And that's okay, and so much more common than people think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, last question. What would you say to someone out there who's just struggling with this or feeling alone?
I think just keep going, keep living when you're ready, because if you're not ready, nothing's going to help you, You have to want it for yourself to get help, even if you are forced to get help. Like, you have to choose that you want to get help and heal. I think coming to terms that you need help or you're struggling in any way, shape, or form, like whether it's with eating disorders or not, I think accepting it within yourself helps a lot with admitting it. And I think a lot is surrounding yourself with good people who won't judge you.
Yeah.
And I think also a lot that has helped me is like picking up like different hobbies, like creatively, or like I stopped looking in the mirror and I stopped weighing myself because that was like an obsessive thing for me. You can definitely do it in a healthy way, but with eating disorders, I think scales are a really hard topic, you know?
Yeah. No, I love that. I really think that is kind of the first step. It's the most important thing to just kind of like come to terms with it, and also just realize that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like, it is so incredibly common. It's like painful to even say. Like, I know so many people in my personal life who've struggled with it. I've even struggled in my life, right? Like,
even if they don't, like, even if they're not aware that they're struggling with it, you can tell they are, you know?
Do you feel like, sorry, one more question.
No, you're good.
Do you feel like you kind of can notice when you see other people kind of struggling?
I think yes and no. Like, there's definitely people who can hide it really good.
Yeah.
And then there's others, like, I can see, like, certain behaviors or actions. I'm like, like, how can I help them? Or, like, not like, hey, you have an eating disorder, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Or
I see this.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do that. But I do want to help them and, like, just open up a space for them. But I definitely have noticed, like, even just, like, in other women, like, if they get, like, plastic surgery and, like, I'm all for it. If you want to get it. Make yourself feel better. I don't care, but sorry, that sounded so rude.
I don't care. Do it. I don't care. Make yourself feel better. No, I get what you're saying. Like, if that makes me happy, do it.
Yeah, if something makes you happy, do it.
Literally.
But I can also kind of see when the reason for it is because, like, of a mental illness behind it, you know?
And even though, like, this is such a hard thing to have to go through, like, I'm just so proud of you for, like, being where you're at today.
Thank you.
And coming on this podcast and helping thousands of other women out there who are also probably struggling with similar things feel less, like, alienated because it's so easy to feel like you're the only freaking person in the world.
It's not a shameful thing, and I guarantee, like, your friends are going through it, and even if it's just, like, in a minor way, like, everyone is so hard on themselves and wants to be different than they are, when everyone should really just be trying to focus on their own beauty 100%. Within themselves, not an appearance way, you know?
Okay, Breia, that is all. Thank you so much for coming on. I freaking love you. I know you guys will love her too. She's the best. Where can they follow you or find you if they want to see more? You post little TikToks about this occasionally.
Yeah.
You know, so come on, plug yourself.
My Instagram is breia.may, and then my TikTok is breemay_, I think.
Amazing. And if, I'm like, and if you yourself or someone out there that you know is struggling with this and is needing support, you can contact the National Eating Disorders Association. You can call or text 800-931-2237. They're here to listen and not judge you. So if you feel like maybe you don't have someone you can lean on or support you through this time right now, that number is always available. My DMs are always open if you need someone to talk to. And thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I love you, Breia.
I love you,
and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
You're so cute.
That was so good.